Hello and welcome to the Tuesday Talk Show with me, your host, Yvonne Gorman from Essential Print Services. The Tuesday Talk Show is powered by my very own small business, Essential Print Services, based on Pride Park in Derby. This is Series 8 and it's all about business support. 2023, it looks like to be a really rocky year. Yes, yet another rocky year for small businesses. So what can we do? What help is out there? Make sure our business survives, thrives and grows throughout this year. And today we've got a fantastic guest. We've got Natalie Gasson-McKinley, and you're missing some letters there. I'm not sure if we've got a screen big enough for all your letters, because I entitled this episode MBE, MBA, OMG. There's just so much going on. Natalie, introduce yourself. Who are you? Why should we listen to you? What makes you the expert of business stuff?
Well, thank you for having me as a guest, and happy Valentine's Day to everybody listening. I guess the first thing to say is I love businesses, which is why I'm here on this special day, giving my insights and love to you all. But hopefully people will listen to me because I ultimately want to champion small businesses, their ambition, to watch them succeed, to watch them grow. So I will have some insights that will help to do that.
Excellent. So what's your background? Very briefly, now, to tell everyone watching live or on catch up. And again, this is live. Anything could happen, which is really exciting. Tell everyone how you got here. How did you get to be part of FSB?
Well, I've had quite a diverse career. I started off as an IT tester for Experian many moons ago,
Wow.
and quickly moved into event management and corporate services because I kept using bright fonts and different colours, which the IT guys didn't really like. And then ultimately, I found myself working with businesses at a commercial level, big businesses, so Boots, Capital One, Experian, and then after a career break, because it was quite a high-pressured, high-powered environment, I just took stock and had to think about what do I really want to do. And at the time, my husband and my dad were both running small businesses and putting in a lot of time, a lot of work, and actually finding it quite hard to navigate what was out there. And then I ended up at East Midlands Development Agency, where that was my role. It was to help take big complex government documents and simplify them for small businesses, and that led into the role I'm in today at the Federation of Small Businesses, where championing small businesses, helping them to navigate landscapes is what they do. I did that for 6-7 years before taking a break and going to work at government as Midlands Engine Strategic Lead, helping to write the Midlands Engine Refresh, and then onto the Head of Operations at D2N2 LEP. And then I came back to small businesses because ultimately it's what I love doing best.
Yay! I'm glad you've come back. It's great, great to see you out on the field again. So what do you do particularly at FSB?
It's a really varied role and no 2 days are the same. And actually, that's really great because it helps us understand the role of a small business owner. You are the marketing director, you are the ops director, you're the cook, the cleaner, the motivational speaker, you are everything. And not to say this role is exactly the same, because obviously I get paid a salary, but ultimately it's quite entrepreneurial. Every day is different. So some days I might be working with businesses out in the field at an expo. Other days I might be reminding businesses of all the amazing services that we have at FSB to help their business to grow. I could be working in Parliament with teachers and university lecturers to help them have programs that help small businesses. So no 2 days are the same, but ultimately everything is about championing small businesses so they can achieve their ambitions.
So 1 minute you could be talking to a government minister, and next minute you could be talking to a candle maker in the high street. It's that diverse, isn't it, your role?
And that's the beauty of it, because actually the chances of that minister talking to a butcher, a baker or a candlestick maker are really slim, but I do that. So actually when I'm talking to the minister, it's not then just about data. And as an organisation, we've got lots of amazing people who work in our policy team who give us some amazing stats and insights. But actually, the flesh on the bones of those stats is the real life story. It's being able to say, you know, I was with a candlestick maker last week and their team of 10 is now a team of 2, or their team of 2 is now a team of 20, and being able to sort of really relay what that means in real terms to business owners. So absolutely, that's what I do, and that's why I love the role.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good. So what pain points are you hearing at the moment from when you're talking to small businesses, Natalie? What are the main issues this year so far?
I'd say the number one is health and well-being. It's been an incredibly tough time for small businesses. Small business owners are resilient, they're entrepreneurial, they've got a lot of energy. But if you look at the last 2-3 years, you've had the cost of living crisis, we've had COVID, we've had energy crisis, we've had the war on the Ukraine. There've been so many external factors that amazing small business owners and business owners of all sizes have no control over, and that makes it a really unfair playing field in terms of doing the work that you do and lots of other business owners do. So it's not a sense of actually your business is not working because your business plan needs adjusting. It's your business is not working because there are so many factors which are impacting it. We've also had the Great Resignation, so people, because of COVID, have taken early retirement. We've seen skills changes, and there've been lots of different external pressures. And we at the FSB understand why we need to have an increased salaries for people, but actually for small business owners who have been battle weary now for a long time, there are so many things. So what I'm hearing is that mental health and support is so important. At FSB, we've got FSB Care, which absolutely helps with that. We're seeing people who've had HR difficulties, and that might have been managing staff through furlough, and now it's re-recruiting staff, or it's staff who don't want to come into the office anymore. They want to work from home in a hybrid or remote working way. So there are HR and legal things that business owners need to navigate. And on top of that, there's so many political and government changes, and it's what do small businesses plug into? So do you get involved with the conversation around devolution or free ports or HS2? How will that impact your business? How will the changes in regulation around Brexit impact your business? So there are just so many things, Yvonne, that are really impacting businesses in a multitude of ways. And it's so important that businesses take the time to listen to shows like yours to find out what help and advice is out there, and to speak to other business owners too.
Yeah, speaking to the business owners has been absolutely vital. I know for myself throughout COVID and throughout, trading over the past 11 years, having that solid support network around me, having a business group to be a part of, having a group of people, business people at the end of my phone on a WhatsApp group to say, hey guys, this has happened to me today, how would you deal with it, has been just absolutely invaluable. As well as the services that FSB can offer. You've mentioned FSB Care, and you mentioned mental health and wellbeing. I'm talking to so many business owners that are burnt out. I've never seen them so low, because if, like you say, everything's being thrown at them, and because you're not employed in a big business, there's nowhere to hide. Especially if you've got employees, you have to be the leader and show them that you are strong, you know what you're doing, you've got it together to maintain their confidence and their motivation. But when you're just feeling, do you know what, I just can't do this anymore, there's nowhere to hide. And that's the exhausting thing. Natalie, have you got any tips for people who are in that funk? What can they do apart from contacting FSB Care, which is an amazing service? Are there any sort of tips that you can do? I mean, for me, it's yesterday, for instance, I got to a point where I thought, I just can't take this anymore. I got off my chair, took the dog for a walk, and half an hour later, I just felt completely different. But it's recognizing those times and making sure your inner coach, your inner business coach, is forcing you to make that change, rather than to sit here and go, do you know what, I'll just keep plugging on because I'm really busy and everything takes you 10 times longer. I'm sure you go through those sorts of things. I know you're a superwoman, but we're also human. So what do you do to get out of those situations?
I think it's about not trying to be a perfectionist. And I know I'm so guilty of this. And I've stopped making New Year's resolutions because of it. Because rather than writing, I'm going to just try and eat healthily, or I'm going to take a few walks in the park. I'll write this big unachievable list of like how I'm going to become a size 8 in 3 months time, and then it becomes something else that I'm failing at, and then I don't do it, and it goes to the bottom of the pile. So absolutely what you've just talked about there, going for a walk, is key. It's scheduling that into your diary. So whether it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes or half an hour, go for 10 minutes if that's what gets you out of the door. But you might find 50 minutes you're still out there because you're enjoying that headspace. So it's planning the time in, but planning it in a realistic way. It's not saying that you're going to suddenly carve out an hour every day, which then amounts to 5 hours, and suddenly you're stressing you're not going to do something else. It's closing the laptop. And it's also recognizing, and it's something I tell myself, and it's not relevant to every business owner, I say, I'm not a brain surgeon. Like, no one's going to die if I go for a walk. No one's going to die if I close my laptop half an hour earlier today because I just can't cope anymore. And particularly with business owners, you've described there all of the pressures you're under, and that on top of that, you've got that sense of employees who are relying on you. So it's really easy to burn out because you're like, I just need to keep going. But that doesn't help you. It doesn't help the business. And actually, if you do have employees who are watching you slowly burn out, that can impact the culture of your organisation as well. And this sense of presenteeism, staying at your laptop, doing all of these things, it's about being productive. So self-care is so important. It makes you a better partner, it makes you a better business person, it makes me a better employee. But it's really about bite-sized chunks. So schedule a bath, with the door closed.
Lovely. Oh, yeah.
I'm so guilty of it. I've got a lovely bath in my house, and I'm like, I haven't got time for a bath. I haven't got time. I'll just have a shower. It's really quick. And then once a month, I might get into the bath and go, why do I not do this more often? It's so relaxing.
I know, right? I'm so guilty of that. You do something, you think, why have I not done this more often? It's like, Alexa, run me a bath.
And the other thing I think as well is, which is so important, and again, I'm really guilty of this and I'm trying really hard to stop it, is because we increasingly are online, we schedule things back to back. Whereas before, we'd get into our car, listen to a few tunes. I used to love listening to the Greatest Showman soundtrack between meetings.
Fantastic. Yes,
it would energize me. I'd be like, yes, I feel, I'm this is the greatest show, I'm ready to go. But when I'm scheduling an 11 till 12 and a 12 till 1 and a 1 till 2, and then before I know it, I've not had those breaks to recharge.
Yeah, there's no time for karaoke in between, is there? You're absolutely right. I know someone whose calendar today is back to back to back from 8:30 till 6. I'm like, when do you have a cup of tea? When do you go to the bathroom? When do you have downtime? Whereas before in an office, you would never do that because you physically wouldn't be able to be there. And it's people who are working from home. I enjoy working from home. I never thought I would like it. I've got an office on Pride Park, but I also like working from home. And it's having that variety, whereas people who work from home all the time, it may suit some people, but for a lot of people, they feel really lonely. So to have an additional space, whether it be a really flexible co-working space or at Derby Enterprise Centre, we can just drop in, use the cafe, be around other business people, can also be really, really valuable because we are humans. We need to be around. We're all about community, aren't we?
Completely agree, and we're actually seeing it across business representation organisations. At the FSB, we have a great working relationship with East Midlands Chamber, CBI, and Make UK. And one of the things we're all noticing is, in terms of in-person events, it's much harder to get businesses to come along because of exactly what you've described. But again, a bit like the running the bath thing, when businesses do come along, they're like, this is brilliant, it's really nice.
And they do more. And it's like, come on, come out of your caves just for a little bit, just for a couple of hours a week. It'll do the world of good.
And it's so true. And it's one of the, I think people, I remember when the world started to open back up again, and I was going out to meetings, and it felt like going back to school. I'd forget my notepad, or I'd forget my pen, or I'd be like, oh God, have I got to actually put on proper clothes? And the more you do it, the more you enjoy it. So I'd say to any business listening to this, if there's the opportunity to network in person, like, please take it. It might feel like a big deal. You might be a little bit nervous, but it will be so worth it when you get there.
And if you want to go, if you're watching this live or on catch up, you want to attend an in-face networking event in Derby or Derbyshire area or Nottinghamshire, send us a message. We'll definitely go along and hold your hand and introduce you to some people. I know that FSB offer free online virtual networking. If you need a little bit of a practice, if you're feeling a bit rusty about networking, the online ones are completely free and they're all over the country. I host the Derby and Derbyshire one. We've got Dawn at Challenge Consulting hosting the Nottinghamshire one as well. So get along to some of them from the FSB. They're absolutely fantastic. And they've got workshops available as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they do, and we are looking at doing more in-person meetings, because the virtual ones are great. Yvonne, you do a brilliant job at hosting a monthly one for us, as does Dawn, and they're absolutely great. And I'd encourage people to go to those virtual ones. And actually, if you do connect with somebody in a breakout room, arrange to meet them for coffee. Just because we haven't arranged it doesn't mean you can't arrange it yourself. So you know, there's a sense again of just exercising that right and that ability you've got to go out and network and do things. But we are seeing an increase, and we've got some planning coming up in terms of the year ahead. But we do hope to have some more in-person events on our calendar later this year.
Yeah, a good mix. I do like the virtual ones. I also like face-to-face as well. So Natalie, if someone listening to this, watching this, thinking, do you know what, I need some help with my business, where the hell do I go? Where the hell do I start? There are so many different places that I know of that I know that if I didn't network as much as I did, I would be overwhelmed. I'm like, well, do I go to D2N2? Do I go to a growth hub? Do I go to FSB? Do I go to East Midlands Chamber of Commerce? Who do I go to if I say, look, I feel like I need some help. I'm not sure what with yet, but I need help identifying what is going wrong. Where do you go?
It's a great question, and depending on the business owner, I think there are a multitude of things. The first thing is to look at online free resources. Again, because we've talked about being a business owner and that sense of having this pressure and not almost putting your head above the parapet. Some of it might just be taking stock of your own business and refreshing yourself around what are the 10 key things I should be doing. And in terms of that, there are some great free resources online. So if you go to www.fsb.org.uk, we've got lots of startup guides which will tell you about a business plan, social media, all of the things you would need to do to start a business successfully. If you're a business owner, though, there's something very specific that's keeping you up at night. So maybe green energy, maybe it's about hiring new staff, then you might need something more than free online guides. And in that case, I would say start off having a look at those free resources, but see which websites you do like. So, for example, universities around the green innovation, there's some amazing programs that are out there which are funded by universities and colleges as well. So there's colleges, there's universities, local councils as well are doing that. So for businesses in Derbyshire, there's the Green Entrepreneurs Fund, which is run by Derbyshire County Council. So there's help and advice on actually making green improvements within your business. You've mentioned the D2N2 LEP, so they've got the Growth Hub. The Growth Hub is a portal where you can go in and look for very specific things. So whether that's premises, sales, grants, looking at international exporting and importing, employment generally, the LEP and the Growth Hub is a really good starting point for that. But again, those networking events are so important as well, particularly at the FSB ones. We have breakouts, and very often with the breakouts, what happens is business owners will share a problem they've got or an opportunity. So there's this cross-pollination of, oh, I know an accountant who can help with that. I know a web designer who can help with that. And very often those recommendations and relationships will help a business to grow as well.
Absolutely. You mentioned the Green
Entrepreneurs Fund. So Derbyshire County Council allocated some funding to help businesses, and it's really around really innovative ideas. So this is not necessarily around adding solar panels to a building and looking at green efficiencies and money saving, but they will signpost you to other places that do that. So the University of Derby have got a programme, Nottingham Trent University and the University of Nottingham have programmes. And this is very often the thing. If you see a flagship programme, very often, and this is one of the things I always do with the co-design of these, I will say, what happens to someone who's turned down? Where do you send them to next? Like, let's not just turn a business down and say, sorry, that's not for us. I always champion signposting businesses when they've gone to somewhere for help. So you might not think a door's worth knocking on, but I would say knock on it anyway, because generally someone should be able to
absolutely. So many people think that they're not eligible. You think, well, just ask anyway. There might be another way to get you in. There might be another scheme that you don't know about. Always be brave and ask for it. Also, there's loads of free webinars out there about trying to be more green, marketing, social media. Small Business Britain do a fantastic program of webinars that are all available on their website. You can sign up to them, play them back. And again, they're just a great taster to think, right, is this the thing that I need help with in my business? Right, I know a little bit more about it now, then I can go somewhere physically and ask for more help. I mean, in the past, it's only Tuesday. It's a Tuesday talk show. We're live and on catch up. For anyone listening, please send in your comments and questions. I keep forgetting to mention that because I'm so engrossed in this conversation. The time is flying by, which it always is. It's only Tuesday, and 4 people this week have already talked to me about marketing pains, social media pains. They've heard of ChatGPT and they're scared. What's going to happen to it? Do I need to go on it? What do I need to do? In terms of marketing, it's such a broad thing. But where do you go for marketing advice? I know there's some again, fantastic webinars on there's loads of marketing stuff on the East Midlands Chamber website. I get their e-shots come through, and there's some amazing workshops, face-to-face and virtual. But as a small business owner, you're running a shop, you're in a unit in a back street sort of area. You don't normally network with business people. So you think, right, I need some more business, I need some more customers, I need to market. What do I do? Where do I go?
It's a really challenging one, and I guess there's a couple of things. Again, lots of universities and LinkedIn are doing free marketing programs. Some of the LinkedIn training is only available to premium members, but actually it's you can sign up for a month and cancel. So I think it's £27.99. Don't quote me on that. It's around that figure. But you can access so many free once you're a premium member. There's lots of different free online things you can do, because very often small business owners want bite-sized training. They don't necessarily want to do a 12-week course. They might want to do an hour a day or an hour a week or something like that. So those small bite-sized chunks are really great for that. There is the government's Help to Digital scheme. I know there's been some changes around that, so I would say anybody go and have a look at that. It's changed a number of times, like the Help to Grow scheme, but it might be one that can help. There are lots of influencers. Again, so LinkedIn, you can have a LinkedIn profile free of charge. Have a search, use that search box and find people and connect with them, because very often small business owners like to share their insights, like to share their knowledge. So chances are, if you find a social media guru online, they'll have a downloadable template that they can walk you through. And the other thing I'd say is, again, knowing that small business owners can be perfectionists, don't think you need to do them all. You don't have to do, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook.
No, don't do them all.
Like it's impossible. Pick the one that you think is best for your business, test it and do it well.
Yeah, absolutely. The start of the year, my resolution was to schedule social media posts. I was very guilty of thinking, right, today I'm going to write a post, and then getting to it and thinking, what the hell do I write? And it takes you so much longer. What was I doing to myself? So now I use the Meta planner to schedule Instagram and Facebook posts, and I love seeing the week ahead all planned out. Oh, the feeling of satisfaction is immense. And then I use Buffer to schedule Twitter, LinkedIn and Google My Business. And because there's only 3 connections on that account, it's still free. So I'm getting 2 schedulers completely free, save myself so much time. I'm like, why have I not done this before? It's like the Natalie, why have I not,
Yeah.
why have I not scheduled myself more social media posts? And then once you start writing, you think, oh, I've got another idea. And then tomorrow's post starts to form, and then you start getting yourself a rhythm. So I definitely recommend scheduling the social media posts. And I think we've mentioned this before with Martin Broadhurst on a previous episode a couple of weeks ago. Remember Google My Business. It's a completely free tool. When people are searching for new services and products, there are other search engines out there. We know about that, but most likely they're going to go to Google because it's a default.
Yes.
We've Googled something. It's a thing that we do now. So if you're inputting into Google directly things about your business, it will look at its own ingredients first. So make sure that Google My Business account has got your shop photographs on there, you're updating it just like you would do Twitter, just like you would do Facebook, and it will just love all that juicy new content that you're giving it to, and also get the reviews on there as well. I'm concentrating on promoting review cards at Essential Print Services, because we all know what it's like. We're really busy. We've gone into a shop and we've enjoyed the experience. We've picked up a lovely fragrant reed diffuser or a gift for someone, and we've enjoyed talking to the person behind the counter. They've given us a fantastic experience. You go, oh, do you know what? When I get back, I'm going to write them a little review. And then you walk out the door and it's gone. If that shop had a physical review card with a QR code on there, so when I get back and I unwrap all my goodies and, oh yeah, review card, let me just click on that and do that now, or I'll do that over a cup of tea. You're more likely to get those reviews. It's a good prompt. So yeah, writing those reviews and asking for the reviews as well is really important, isn't it?
Totally.
Natalie, is this a good time to start a new business? I mean, there's never a right time. Never a right time, but is this a good year, a good time to start a new business, and why?
I'd say it really is about your networks. There was a time when actually starting a business was around having a great idea, being resilient. But the support network is so important right now in testing the market. It's still an incredibly challenging time. I'm not going to lie. I was just on BBC East Midlands Politics show a couple of weeks ago talking about the number of business closures. We've lost 500,000 businesses across the UK in 2 years. However, there are businesses that are growing and thriving. So it's really important to do your homework first to make sure that business plan is locked down. Have people look at it, have your friends look at it, your family look at it, an accountant, people who are in the service industry who are working with businesses, get them to have a look at that, look at the D2N2 Growth Hub, see if there's anybody, they have advisors who can listen to you and talk through your plan. If you do all of those things and you feel ready, then absolutely, you're a small business owner yourself. There is so much joy in it as well. It is tough out there. It's incredibly tough, but the rewards when they do come are so worth the efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would always say to people starting up, find a business group, find that community before you even register your business.
Yes.
Go along and say to them, hi, I'm so-and-so from Widget & Co. I've actually not even started a business yet, but I've got this idea. What do you think to it? And so many, you'll be surprised the amount of people that just want to help you and want to give you their advice. You get so much free advice around the table. And if you're listening to this on live or on catch up and you're in that position, you don't know where to find these people, get in touch with me, get in touch with Natalie. We know where these people are. Find them out for you.
Totally.
I love listening to new ideas and new opportunities. Well, again, it's almost out of time, Natalie. Is there any other things that you want to squeeze in before we wrap up today's Tuesday talk show?
I'd just say the final thing I wanted to say is that I saw a meme over the weekend and it was really poignant and it stuck in my brain, and it said, don't confuse free time with available time. And I think it's something everybody's guilty of. I look in my diary and I see free time and I'll shoehorn something in. And if people stop doing that, you'd have more time for the planning, the baths, the walks, the things that will power your business.
That is a very good way to finish the Tuesday Talk Show. Natalie, we've talked about baths. That's been a great feature. It's been also a good feature, but there is, I think the main takeaway here is that there is support out there. And if you listen to this and you don't know where to turn, just send us a message. Natalie, where can people find you if they want to get in touch?
So I'm on LinkedIn, and if you go to LinkedIn, type in Natalie Gasson-McKinley, I'll pop up, or go to the FSB website, search for Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire. I think it's under the East Midlands, which it will be. You'll find contact details from my colleague, Amy Gillespie. You can message Amy and she'll send any messages on to me.
And for my personal question to you is, how does it feel to have MBE at the end of your name? I mean, that is just what a fantastic news. When I heard it, I was like, yes, how amazing is that?
It's still sinking in. Like even this morning, I've been sleeping really badly recently, and I wake up at about 3, 4, and I'm not lying. This little voice in my head was like, "You got an MBE," and I got the news on the 30th of November and had to keep quiet for a month. So it's still sinking in. It's amazing, but yeah, it's still sinking in.
It is incredible. It is incredible. I can't wait to see the photographs you receiving your award. That is just going to be amazing. The Tuesday Talk Show is powered by my very own business, Essential Print Services. Click and subscribe on the Tuesday Talk Show YouTube channel. And if you're watching this on catch up, we still love to hear from you. Send your comments and questions and we'll get back to you. So that is another episode of Tuesday Talk Show. If you've liked this, then there's loads more on the YouTube channel to catch up on. And if you're listening to this and thinking, why hasn't Yvonne asked me to be a guest on her Tuesday Talk Show? Then don't be shy. Get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. So that's it. I'm Yvonne Gorman, Essential Print Service. We had the amazing Natalie Gasson-McKinley from FSB with us today. And we shall see you next time. Goodbye.